There's one line of CSS that many experienced developers add near the beginning of a project. It's not a framework, it's not JavaScript, it's this box sizing border box. And if you ever wondered why is my 50% width element slightly too wide, or why did adding padding break my layout, this is one of the first things you should understand. Let me show you exactly why. Alright, I'm gonna show you the default behavior first, then we will add one line and see exactly what changes. So let's start with two boxes. We want each one to be exactly 50% of the container. This is the HTML code, very simple, just two boxes, each one will be 50%. Now let's style them. In this CSS code, now look at the boxes. Each box has 50% width, 20 pixels of padding on each side, and a 4 pixel border on each side. But here's the important part. By default, CSS uses box sizing content box. That means the declared width only applies to the content area. The padding gets added outside it, and the border gets added outside it too. So this width 50% doesn't mean the entire box is 50%. The content is 50%, then padding and borders are added on top. So the actual box becomes larger than 50%, and two of them can no longer fit neatly inside the container. Okay, now let's change one thing, and that's it. This selector targets all elements, and box sizing border box changes how the browser calculates the declared width and height. Now padding and borders are included inside that width, and look at the difference. Each box is still 50% width, still has 20 pixels of padding, still has a 4 pixel border, but now the total width of each box is 50%. The padding and border fit inside that 50%. So here's the easiest way to remember it. With the default content box, the declared width is the content width. So conceptually, width plus padding plus border equal total size. With border box, the declared width represents the total size of the box. So width equal content plus padding plus border. That makes percentage widths and fixed widths much easier to reason about. And this becomes especially useful with things like form inputs. Imagine this. This is the HTML code, and in this CSS, the input is width 100% and it also has padding and a border. Because we are using border box, the padding and border are included inside that 100%, so the input stays inside its container. This is one of the reasons border box is such a useful default. So what would I actually put at the beginning of a project? At minimum, box sizing border box. Then if you want a simple base reset, you can add margin 0, padding 0, and common image defaults. And for buttons, these aren't all part of box sizing. They are separate useful defaults. The important thing is understanding what each rule actually does. And once you understand this, a lot of those why is this element wider than I expected CSS problems suddenly make a lot more sense. So add it to your mental CSS starter kit. And if you are learning modern CSS, check out my videos on Flexbox and responsive images too. They all build on the same idea. Make the browser's layout rules work for you instead of fighting them. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.